from your area would like this information, we will post it. You can also reach out and we will get it to you. But again, welcome to our Lunch and Learn for this semester through Arkansas Academic Advising Network. And what we're going to do real quick before we start our presentation is we'll just go around so you can kind of get a name with the face of each board member that we have on our presentation today. So if you don't know who I am Danielle Jolie. I am the president for ArkAAN, and I am happy to have served on ArkAAN in several different areas already, but I will say, you know, it's definitely an organization that I value because it's nice to come kind of to a home base where everyone knows kind of what you're doing in your role versus you have so many different staff on the campus that you're at where not everyone understands what you do day in, day out. So I am glad that we have this organization for different people in advising roles throughout the state. So I will let Jenny introduce herself and kind of talk about where she's at and her role in ArkAAN. So Jenny, take it away.
Well, hello, good afternoon. My name is Jenny Rude. I recognize some names from the past. I served as president last year, so I'm past president this year. I think this is my 5th year on ArkAAN, having served as president-elect and vice president for communications. And I've just had a great experience here, and I'll be a little sad to leave the board next year, but that just leaves more room for other people to get involved. In my day-to-day life, I'm the assistant director of advising at the University of Central Arkansas. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. I will turn it over to Krista Marsh. If you will do your intro.
I'm Krista Marsh, and I teach at Southern Arkansas University in the biology department. And I also help in advising with the freshmen. So, until they're at 30 hours and they go to their specific advisors. So I am a 4-year professional representative for ArkAAN.
Awesome. Thank you, Krista. And then just so you guys know, I do not believe Austin is on the call, but Austin Shader is our public 2-year rep. He is at NWAC and he is amazing. We are so thankful that he's on the board, but unfortunately he has some other things going on today, so he will not be able to be here to intro, but just an FYI. So let's go on to Pam. Will you please introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, Pamela Henderson. I'm the Associate Director at Arkansas State University's Wilson Advising Center. I've been a member of ArkAAN since 2017, and this is the first time I've been on the board. I'm having a blast, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Pam. And we are glad that you volunteered as tribute to help with our membership. So we are glad that you're on. And then moving on to Kristen Nelson, will you please do your intro?
Okay, my button was not working. I'm sorry. I'm Dr. Krista Nelson. I am a psychology professor at Southern Arkansas University. And on the ArkAAN board, I am the vice president for diversity. And this is my 2nd year as vice president.
Awesome. Thank you, Krista. And then Justin Martin is next up on our list to introduce himself.
Hi guys, my name is Justin Martin. I'm an academic advisor in the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. And I am your vice president for communications. So a lot of you have been communicating with me this week. So it's nice to see so many of you here in person.
Yes, in person. I love it. And then let's let Shanna introduce herself.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Shanna Turney, and I am the Associate Director of the Rural First Year Advising Center at UAFS. I'm also the treasurer for the ArkAAN board, and I will be one of your presenters today.
Awesome. Thank you, Shanna. And last but not least, Zach, will you do your intro?
Everybody, I'm Zachary Singleton. academic advisor at Arkansas State University and Wilson Advising Center, like legitimately 5 doors down or so from Pam Henderson. So, but yes, so, and I am the president-elect. And so next year I will take over, and I have been on the board since spring of 2018. That seems like a long time now. So, but I will be the other presenter today, and we're here. We're happy to see everybody here joining us today. We got a nice big crowd.
Yeah, we do. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for allowing the members of ArkAAN to see that face with the name. And then we'll go ahead and get started with Zach and Shanna's presentation. I know it's very interactive, so please feel free to interact. Justin and I will also be monitoring the chat. And then just a reminder for those of you who hopped on a little bit after I might have mentioned this, this is being recorded. So if you want to share with your coworkers or anyone who you think might need this, or other colleagues, please reach out to us. We will also most likely post this on our website as well. So I will let Zach and Shanna take it away, so they have all the times to present.
All right, thank you so much. I am excited to share with you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Get that up. Just a second. Of course, right when you're ready to start, it times out, right? Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Great. I'm getting a thumbs up. I see some thumbs up. So today, Zach and I are going to talk to you guys about tips, tricks, and tools. We hope that the resources that we provide for you guys today, that there will be at least one that you can bring back with you to your institution and either help yourself as an advisor or help your advisees. We know that advising formats have dramatically changed in the last 2 years, and we hope to help you prioritize and navigate things today. So please put questions in the chat for us. I can't see it, but I know Danielle will read them out to us. We do have some polling that we're going to do, so be ready to cast your votes. And with that, I am going to jump right in. Zach, is there anything you want to say before I jump in?
No, ma'am. Ready to rock and roll.
All right, let's go. So one thing that I think is really important before we get deep into the conversation is that the way I feel about time management. We often tell our students to be better time managers, and we tell ourselves all the time we need to be better time managers, but really we don't have control over time. But if you do, please hit me up. We can become billionaires. I'm ready for that business venture. But as it stands now, we don't have control over time, but we can prioritize things. And so that is going to be the focus of my part of the presentation today, is prioritizing. So let's start out by taking a poll. And Justin, can you pull our polls up? Right, there we go. Can everyone see the polls to vote? All right, I'm seeing the numbers come in, so I'm assuming that you're able to see them. I appreciate that some of you admit that you are superhuman. All right, Justin, let's end that poll right there, maybe. Then All right, can you guys see the results of the poll?
No.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, now.
Okay, good, great news. Okay, so I just want to point out that we do have a good diverse group in here, and I've kind of written the numbers down. Some of you never use the snooze button, and I'm so jealous of you right now because the snooze button is my arch nemesis. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Most of you, it looks like you're using virtual calendars of some sort. No one is too smart for a calendar, so I'm excited to see that. And then if we scroll down at the bottom, a lot of you are using colors, so that will come into play with what we're talking about today. And then Justin, I think there's one more poll on there that is about their role. If you can share that and they can take that vote. All right, it looks like that is done, so we can go ahead and end that. There we go, and share those results out. So we also have a good mix of different types of advisors on the call today. So everything from, adjunct and advising to full-time professor and advising. So that is exciting to see. Okay, thank you, Justin. I think we're done with polling. There we go. Okay. So moving on and getting into the meat of it, the first thing I really want to talk about is that as advisors, maybe even just working in education, we are often in the business of tending to someone else's emergency. The moment it struck 9 o'clock and the floor opened today, I already had a student emergency that I needed to address. And so I know that many of you feel that, especially during advising season. And so I want to talk a little bit just about that and how we can better prioritize those emergencies, for lack of a better word, from students. So sometimes it really is an emergency. We need to address something immediately. Sometimes we just need to, talk to the student on the phone and de-escalate the situation and say, hey, I am going to get to this thing that you really need to happen, but I need you to give me 48 hours to get to that. And that one phone call will stop them from emailing us 20 more times before that 48 hours are up. And so we are able to work on the other things that we have as priorities. I think a lot of times our role affects our calendar. So if our role is just to be, an advisor, and that's our full-time focus, then we really focus on our appointments and everything our students say. And when we get into different levels, maybe we're also teaching, or we have some administrative roles, then we start to find things that really pull us into different directions, and they often compete with one another. And we really have to figure out how to prioritize items. And other people also bring emergencies to us, right? Not just students. And so we have to figure out how to determine if that is actually an emergency that we need to address right this moment, or if we can do it, just a little bit later. And so you'll see that I put on there, use the filter. And when I say that, I just need you to know that my brain is set up in filing cabinets. And so I kind of have everything in its own little file. And that's how I think through things. And so when I say use a filter, I'm really talking about a lens upon which you're looking at this item. So let's say that someone gives you a task that they really need done in the next 24 to 48 hours. Is that task necessary? Is it something that truly has to be done in that time frame? Who is it serving? If your primary role is to serve students, is this task you're being asked to do truly serving students? And how do my talents contribute to that? So really thinking through the things that I bring to the table and whether or not I'm going to be able to handle and truly contribute to what is happening here. And then the next thing is what am I going to have to give up to be able to get this task done? Because I probably already had a to-do list or appointments or maybe papers to grade, right? I had all these things that I already needed to do, and now there's one more task. And I think over the last 2 years, a lot of us have probably taken on one more task in the day. We've been asked to wear multiple hats, and we're kind of moving into a season where hopefully we can take 1 or 2 of those hats off, but maybe not. And so figuring out what am I going to have to give up to be able to do this task, and really thinking about that before you give an answer. A lot of times we just say yes without thinking, yes, it has to be done. Let me just do it right now. But it's maybe a little bit better for us if we will think about, okay, what am I going to have to give up to be able to complete this? And then what am I going to learn here? Is this a task that is not really in my realm of understanding, and I'm going to get the opportunity to learn something really cool or to grow in a certain area that I would like to grow in? And how much time is that going to take? What do I need to dedicate to that to really do this in a really great way? I'm going to stop right there, Danielle. Are there any questions or comments in the chat? Or if you haven't put it in there, would you like to? Now is your chance. She looks like she doesn't have any in there, I'm assuming. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to keep on going. If you have questions or comments, please, please, please put them in the chat. I want to talk just a little bit about that snooze button that I pulled you all on. So I noticed that not many, but some of you are superhuman and you never use your snooze button. And I really aspire to be that way. But sometimes that little reminder comes up and I think to myself, not now, not right now. This is going to test me and I can't do it. And so if you are someone who uses your snooze button, I might encourage you as an advisor to consider that might mean that your plate is a little bit too full. Or maybe your priorities are not quite in the order that you thought they were in. And I'm speaking to myself here. Sometimes I have to go back and say, okay, I put this down that I was going to do it. It's a priority and I've hit snooze on it 3 times now. Why am I not doing it? And so figuring out, letting that be a little alarm, if you will, to remind me that I need to kind of figure out what my priorities actually are and get those set up the way that they need to be set up. One of the other questions that I asked you guys about was color coding, and a lot of you actually color code, so that's great. I would encourage you to do that. When we all went to work from home for, it felt like an eternity, but it wasn't that long. But when we went to work from home, I really had to look at my calendar and determine, okay, what things are appointments, what things are meetings, what things have I already prepared before I walk in the door, and what things have I not. And so I use a color coding system to do that. For instance, in advising season, when my students are scheduling appointments, as I'm preparing for them to come in, I change their color based on their appointment type. Is it a virtual appointment or is it an in-person appointment, and have I already prepared for it? So I'm kind of categorizing a little bit that way for me. Another thing that I do is meetings that are not student related are a totally different color. And so really using that to figure out exactly what I need to be preparing for, because we're going to talk next about looking at our calendars at a glance. And so that's one way that I can glance at it and know quickly what I'm looking at for my day and what I maybe need to create some time for in my schedule. Danielle, are there questions, comments? Okay, she's still shaking her head no, it looks like. Okay, so what's the fix? What's the fix to having all these things that are thrown at us every single day? A A lot of times someone else feels that they are an emergency, even though you might not feel they're an emergency. Sometimes there's deadlines involved. So how do we handle all of those things being thrown at us and not being burned out as an advisor or not giving our best to students as they're coming in to meet with us? And so I just provided a couple of things. Know your most important to-dos of the day or the week. So what is most important to you this day to get completed, or this week? What is the most important thing to you to complete? And I write those down on my mouse pad. I have my mouse pad is paper. And so I write those down each week at the top of it to just remind myself, this is what I said was important this week. And so I have to figure out a way to put this puzzle together of my calendar and make sure I complete those tasks or those items. Next up is use the phrase, let me think about it when possible. I said earlier that we often just automatically say, yes, I'm going to do that. I'll get it done. It'll be done by this time. But saying, let me think about it will give you, maybe a couple hours to filter that through. Does it meet what I want to be doing? Am I going to learn something? What am I going to have to give up instead of just reacting in that moment with a yes? Number 3 is what we like to call at our house as Nike on 3. And it is that if it can be done in 5 minutes, just do it right there in the moment. Don't put it on a to-do list. Don't put it on the calendar. Don't let it take up space in your brain. Just do it immediately if it can be done in those 5 minutes. And the last thing is that the first 5 minutes of every day, scan your calendar and prioritize the things that are listed on it. Or if you keep a to-do list, scan that to-do list and really, maybe highlight the things that are top priority for you to get done that day so that you don't have to keep going back and thinking about, okay, what did I say was the most important today? And how do I get back to that place? Those are my 4. I think next up is Zach. I'm going to stop right there. I don't see Danielle's face on here, so I'm going to ask Justin. Are there any questions? Okay. Zach, I'm turning it over to you.
Awesome. So yes, Justin, I do have a poll to see how many people utilize fillable PDFs for work. Oh, look at that. My heart's so happy that people apparently, so looks like, yep, I think we've fed everybody. So it looks like, yeah, overwhelming majority of people do use fillable PDFs at work, which makes me happy because it's one of my favorite things. We'll go ahead and end the poll, and Miss Shana, if you'll go to the next slide, ma'am. So this is kind of some of the things that I like to call streamline with fillable PDFs, because especially when you're talking about meeting with a lot of students, especially if you have 3, 4, 5 meetings in a row, my favorite thing to do is I have taken like a general education form and also just a kind of generic meeting with students form. And I made them where once you get done, and of course I have individual folders saved on my computer under spring 2022, fall 21, whatever it may be. And so when I get done with meeting with that student, if I hadn't had the time to go ahead and get the next one ready, I can hit the reset clear or clear form buttons. And that way I can have them all ready. And it makes it so much easier. And of course, the nice thing is a lot of institutions now, at least here at A-State, we're going where we can get the Adobe package. So you can get everything to, Photoshop, videos, whatever it is. But I really like the ability to go ahead and make those fillable PDFs. And I mean, these are just a couple examples. Pam can tell you that there have been numerous things that we have made fillable for the classes we may teach. We even do a lot of stuff with Qualtrics to capture information, which I know is not exactly PDF, but just about anything can be made fillable, and it can be made up to the way you need it to do. And that's why I like about PDFs because I feel like it does streamline, make things easier. So you're not having stacks of paper also in your desk and you're going, where did I put that? Because yeah, that's about the only reason that my desk stays clean in my office. All righty, man, we can move on. Now, I almost made this a poll question, but I decided not to. And you don't have to raise your hand, but I'm sure there's some people out there that have inboxes that legitimately look like that, or you're getting the inboxes full again thing. And so, email is such an important way for us to communicate. And yes, I mean, like I said, you can see there where it has, someone may have over 30 something thousand or, unopened messages. The ones to the right that are a little bit more drastic, showing almost 100,000 unopened emails. I mean, it could be a rally. I don't know. I mean, but we'll move on because some of what, and when I was deciding on what else to add to email, and this is where I was talking to Dr. Henderson the other day, and one of them was talking about, well, can we just create rules in Outlook that will take an email for me and put it into a specific folder when it comes in, so it's not just sitting in my inbox. And actually, I found that there's the website Wise Stamp. I know we're going to share this information with you later, but you'll have that plus the little graphic. There's actually a clickable icon to take it. So that's one of the things you can do. I have folders for every single thing from classes I teach to withdrawal forms to whatever it may be for our office. And so when I get done with the particular email, I make sure to put it in the folder. Now, sometimes it may mouse up on me going to the wrong folder and I go, where's that email at? And then I find it, move it to the right folder. But it's kind of Shane has talked about earlier, not only with calendars and making sure we're good there, but your email, if it's unorganized and it's, you're having to sit there and search through every single thing and it's just sitting in your inbox, a little bit easier a lot of times to go through it and make that folder, just move it in. And so that way, when you're trying to look it back and you're trying to find it, it's like, oh, I remember that student, talking to that student the other day and I put it in such and such folder. Now, still would utilize search, but sometimes it's, just a whole lot quicker and easier to go into that folder to kind of do, to kind of find what you're looking for. And is there any questions or anything in the chat there, Miss Danielle?
No, they're not. I will say that Outlook rules make your life way, way easier. So thank you for sharing that tip.
You're welcome. So, and of course, we talked about a lot of working from home and stuff like that. And one of the things we definitely stress on is the cloud. So a lot of places will have Google Drive, you have A-State, we're moving more to Office 365. So there's OneDrive, Dropbox, Microsoft Teams. And so I bring a lot of this up. And so, especially now, even if you're not still having a lot of in-person meetings, or if you're in multiple offices, like some people I know that are on our board, which is cool. This is the best thing about a lot of this for cloud. I know Microsoft Teams is not exactly like a cloud format, but it does help you connect with your other people around you. And so when you're working on these things, like we have a big Google Drive for the ArkAAN board. And so we're able to share that information and get it to each other a lot quicker than we would be if it was just floating around an email and you hope that you are not responding before while someone else is responding. And so that's what so much of this is the cloud is based for. And so, I put it there, collaborate amongst your office or with advisees. And so if there's information you need to share with your advisees, you're more than, you can go into OneDrive or Google Drive and make a shared folder with them. And so they can go in there and view stuff. They may not be able to make changes, but that way they can look at that information. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about was self-care. Now, this is probably the biggest tool and trick that, we can hopefully take away from this, but we have to take time for ourselves, especially right now that, we're coming still in the COVID time. Hopefully we're at the back end of it, I'm hoping, so we can all see each other again and high five and fist bumps or whatever, we want to do. But because I always think if I don't take care of myself, then I can't take care of my advisees. I can't take care of things in the office. I can't take care of my family and friends, the things I need to do. So, think of things that work for you and what you like to do. So, for example, I love playing video games. That is a great way for me to de-stress, and especially with somebody like me with ADD, video games are great because it doesn't have to be repetitive thing like Mario or whatever. It could be basketball game or sports games or whatever. But that's one of the things. I mean, I almost put on there, but I think people think I'm a big nerd, but I like to build computers too and look at all that stuff. That's just kind of who I am. But just think of the things that, maybe that's a nice long walk outside. Maybe it's staring at the stars like my wife likes to do, or, whatever it is, to make sure you are taking that time for yourself. We have vacations for reasons, folks, and we have leave time for reasons. And, I'm one that, it will start climbing up on me. And I know a lot of us will have that same wish where it's like, man, I just hit the threshold. But, I will say that my supervisor, Dr. Jackson and Dr. Henderson, both do a great job of making sure that we are taking care of ourselves, because sometimes, just stepping back and letting it all go away. Just like this weekend, I'm taking my dog down to see my mom and them. So yeah, he's more excited, I think, because he gets to lick the plates down there clean. But anyway, but that is, I think, all I have. And I think it is questions, comments.
I would just also remind you, we talked a lot about calendars. Put your self-care time in your calendar. If you're not scheduling that time, then something else is going to take its place. And it's really important that we take care of ourselves to avoid burnout, to be the best person we can be for our family and our students. And so if we don't figure out how to plan that time, we will just constantly be overwhelmed.
Can I add something also?
Sure.
Another piece of advice that I've really utilized, mainly over this past year a lot, is when I don't know what to do, ask someone, ask a colleague, ask a friend. I can't tell you how many times I've called Shanna and Danielle both. They both have a speed dial button on my phone. Because, I'm, in a sense, I'm within my first year of advising, moving to a new role. So it's like, hey, how do you do this? How do you manage this? Because ultimately you want to avoid burnout. You want to avoid giving up your time. Your time is the most valuable gift that you can give anyone. And so you want to make sure those 8+ hours that you spend during the day on your campus or just working in general are being utilized to the best of your ability.
Okay, I'm going to put you all on the spot. In the chat, if you found a tip, trick, or tool that you are going to try out that maybe you don't already utilize, please put that in the chat so we can see kind of what you might want more of in the future. So let us know what you're going to try out. I hope some of you will get out of your comfort zone.
I'm saying a lot of self-care and calendars. And of
Yeah,
course,
I like that.
Shayna's closest we are to Halloween. It could be tips, tricks, tools, or treats. I mean, there you go, man.
Oh, treats. We skipped treats.
That's right.
I like it. Putting self-care in calendar.
That's part of self-care though, treats, right? Treat yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
That's right.
Jenny. Yeah.
My wife will go for the Hershey bar and I go for a Snickers bar when I, needing my little treat for the day.
Yeah.
Oh, there's somebody talking about the Outlook rules. Yes.
Yes.
Cassie, that is a lifesaver. I mean, that's one of those things that actually was inspired by somebody I work with in my office to search that out and find it. So
Carrie said that she was going to use let me think about that instead of yes. I think for the last 10 years, that's been the thing that I've had to work on the most. Everybody on this chat that works with me directly would tell you that yes is my favorite word. And so keep working on that muscle. It will eventually get better.
That's always one of my big downfalls too, Shane, is I want to take on and do any and everything. I have done so much better, especially moving into this role and moving out of housing a few years ago, of just saying it's okay to say no. I don't have to do everything under the sun. And Pam said one of the things she talked pre-scripted emails. Yes, because I saw something actually not long ago, Pam, in the Nakata Tech thing, and there is somebody that has made this Google Doc, and it was huge of just pre-scripted emails from every different kind of type and thing there ever was. And I mean, there's hundreds of them. So I was impressed by that. But yes.
Danielle taught me to use signatures like my second day at work 10 years ago. And so since then, I put my pre-scripted emails in a signature and just send the signature out. Nina said pre-scripted appointment reports. Yes, absolutely.
I would say also that Outlook does have templates if you're on Outlook 365, but you have to access them when you hit reply, and they're the very last item on the menu. I use that for a lot of our change of majors or someone who is a current, or not a current, but is a readmit or a transfer. And that way I don't have to retype, hey, make sure you have access to all these things and that kind of thing as well.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are finding at least one thing that you can take away. Sometimes when we go to lunch and learns or professional development, we think, oh my gosh, I have to apply all these things immediately when I get back. And that is so unrealistic. So I hope you will pick one thing and just work on it. And then when you get good at it, you can always come back to the list and find one more thing to help you improve.
Amanda, I also love that you put the pre-scripted appointments. I have one for in-person appointments and virtual appointments that I literally copy and paste. And I just have what is highlighted pieces that I know I need to go and adjust for each student. So that way I'm not retyping the same text over and over and over. So those are so helpful. And I would say a lot of like the Outlook rules and the pre-scripted stuff, it's going to take a little bit more on the initial startup, but you will appreciate and be so thankful that you did it down the road, because it does make your life so much easier. Justin Martin has a raised hand.
So one thing that I know our Roar First Year Advising Center does that I'm adapting is when you're going to be out of the office for whatever reason, for example, I'm out this afternoon, trying to put those things that people reach out to you all the time for in your auto reply that says you're out of office. Be like, hey, I'm out of the office, but I've included some things that I think you might ask about here, so that you're not coming back to answer an email that says, do we have school Monday? No, we don't. Or yes, we do. Because yes, that has happened. I can't tell you how many weekend emails I've got over like fall break that were like, do we have school Monday? No, you don't. I have to come to work, but you don't. So you're good.
Pam put a good question in the chat. Is there a tip or trick one of you have in your back pocket that you use that maybe we did not mention that you would like to share?
This is a shy group, Danielle.
I know. I feel like I need to turn my my peaceful concentration playlist back on.
Amanda color codes her appointments, virtual, in person. Me too, girl. I couldn't survive without it. I think also in the virtual world, we're to a point where something ends and something begins and we have no buffer. And so figuring out that buffer on our calendar is sometimes really, really hard. And, just taking those 3 minutes in between to not do another task, but to maybe just walk to the water fountain and back, right? Before that next virtual thing happens. Schedule time on calendar to return voicemails. I like that. That's fun.
One thing I know that's, yes, one thing that's kind of grown on our campus, and I think, I don't know if it's been shared here, not in this presentation, but we use Linktree a lot on our campus. to provide students with common links. So that's just in my email signature, and it's like, click here for helpful information. That's how they can use our appointment system to set up an appointment with me. I even have a link to our campus map with my office highlighted so that they know where I'm at, because I'm not really in a traditional student services building. But also just kind of providing them with, to the academic catalog, to the course schedule, whatever, frequent places students need to visit after they either meet with us or they would reach out to us asking where to find.
Jenny said that she provides an email about registration, like ways that they may be able to figure that out. When she's in peak registration, I get that totally. So that they can hopefully go out there and figure it out maybe before she gets to the email. It's always great when they reply and say, oh, I already got it, right? I already figured that out. A pre-made email that indicates success tips so students can, so she can give the students everything to maybe withdraw or whatever they need to do. I would say that Linktree is really, really user-friendly. And so if you're someone who doesn't just love technology, I would be in that group. Linktree is very simple to create and update. So don't be scared of that. Just go out on their website. Oh, Justin put the link in there. It's really easy to create your own.
And I just dropped mine in the chat so that if you need some inspiration, you can take a look there. And I've heard lots of students give me positive feedback on it.
I also share mine with my faculty because I have, I think, around maybe 50-ish faculty advisors between 2 different areas on campus since our college has merged this year. And so I tell my faculty, if you want to use it in your signature as well, so it's not something that they have to keep up with, because mine is very not general, but it's, I mean, anyone on campus could kind of use it. It's not anything drilled down specifically to that for just our stuff. So Chastity, yeah, you can definitely use mine. But it's something that I also really like Linktree, because you can, I mean, it's free, but there's also a paid version where you want to get more analytics, you can, but you can see who's clicked, like not who, but how many clicks a specific link is getting on the free version. So if it's something that I think is valuable, I might put it out there. And then if I see, thank you, Justin, for dropping mine in there. But if it's something that I see is no one's really clicking on this and I thought it was valuable, maybe it's not, and I might hide it for a little bit. So you can hide links on there for different, and you can put them in different categories and all of that stuff. And so that's something that I started using about March, April 2020, just because there was so much information that we share over and over as advisors. That way I can say, hey, this is in my Linktree, go get it, versus, hey, go here, go here, go here, go here. And you can see how many clicks your Linktree overall has. And I think, Justin, I think I told you I was at like 1.5K or something. So on just like views, and then you can see how many clicks. So it's well over 1,000 in just a little over a year. So I can see students are actually accessing it versus probably things on our website. So that allows me to kind of see who's using it and who finds value in it. So, and I tell faculty as well, since they might use it, or I might tell Chastity or our student peer advisors in our college, like if there's something on there that you think is valuable, send it to me. I'll put it on there. I mean, it's a free resource for everyone. So it's definitely user friendly. And I'm like, I need to buy Linktree stock at this point.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Danielle, they're going to get like 15 minutes back of their life so they can have self-care. This is exciting.
I know, you can have your.
We did that intentionally.
Yeah. But we will post this on the website. And then I think, Justin, you had mentioned, and I think I did as well, we can send it out to those that have registered. Please share it with anyone. It's a free resource. So if you feel like another colleague might value it, please share it. But we thank you guys so much for attending today, and thank you, Zach and Shanna, for sharing your wisdom and presenting. So we appreciate you all. And then just a reminder, if you have someone in your areas, or if you are not currently an ArkAAN member, we do have that membership for $30 this academic year. And we will also have a lunch and learn in January. We will require membership for that one most likely. So please join. This was kind of a freebie, so you could kind of see what we're about if you are not a current member. But for those of you who came today and aren't members, we hope that you join. And then just a reminder, you will get an invoice and they will go out every Tuesday, but you can sign up online on the ArkAAN website. If you're not sure where to go for that, please feel free to reach out to me or Justin or Pam or Shanna or Zach or Jenny or Krista. So we are happy to make sure that you get that membership. So anyway, thank you guys so much for your time today. Go have your 12 minutes of self-care before your next thing at 1 p.m. But have a good weekend. And thank you again for joining us today.